Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. It is an absolutely beautiful day for baseball here in the Motor City. September is right around the corner, and the pennant races are starting to take shape. The Tigers come into play today, trailing Chicago by 2.5 in the Central, and the Tigers are one game out of the wild card as well. As we welcome you to Comerica Park, Mario and Pemba, along with Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here this afternoon. We wrap up this series against the Angels, and Rod, the Tigers, although they have not been hitting the ball all that much, they've been pitching well, and as a result, a chance now with a win today to go 6-3 on this homestand.
You know, one of the things that we've witnessed with a lot of the teams that are in the playoff hunt, some teams have really good offenses, but the teams that don't have good offenses that pitch very well, those teams are still in the hunt, and that's why the Tigers they're doing a wonderful job, and they got a chance to really do some damage here at home.
All right, now how about the Tigers? They are pitching well. We want to concentrate on that. They've had some really good bullpen work in this series against the Angels, but overall, on this homestand, the pitching staff has done very well.
When the Angels came into Comerica Park, they're a very hot team. They had swept their series in Boston, but what the Tigers have been able to do against them and the other opponents that have been here in this current homestand is the reason why they've had a winning homestand. And if you continue to pitch like this, you're going to have a chance to play some really meaningful games in the month of October.
All right, now back in July, the Tigers took on the Angels, and the TNT boys, Trout and Trumbo, were really good in that series. Not so much in this series. The Tigers have contained them.
Well, when you start talking about the series that they've had, 1 for 17, they saw Mike Trout for the very first time this year. And he did a lot of damage in the games that they played here in July, but they made an adjustment against him, and they also made some adjustments against Trumbo. You got to crowd these guys inside. You have to get ahead with first pitch strikes, and when you're able to do that, you can contain some very dangerous bats. Trout is at his best when he's getting on, stealing bases. They've kept him off the bases, so the pitchers have been able to relax when Trumbo and some of the other guys like Hunter have come to the plate. So give the pitching staff and Jeff Jones a lot of credit, because the game plan that they started with this series has worked to perfection against those two guys.
Somebody get my buddy some coffee. It's been a long night for him. Welcome back. I know you've been traveling all night. Good to have Rod Allen back here, and thanks for Simo for filling in last night's broadcast. Right now we go back to the Call Sam Studios. Let's check in with Mickey York. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. Ram, now get a great deal on a new Ram truck at the Ram Summer Clearance event going on right now. And by Breyers, quality since 1866. On a great day for baseball, it's the Tigers and Angels. Game 3 coming up. Lineup's first pitch next. Great day to wrap up this series. Tigers and the Angels in the final game in this 3-game set. The rubber game of the match here this afternoon as Max Scherzer takes the hill and getting ready to take on Mike Trout, Myceris Turris, and Torii Hunter in the first inning for the Angels. Angels took the first game in the series. Tigers came back with a much needed win. Some late inning heroics again last night. First pitch of today's ball game is in for a strikeout. Mike Trout, who's had a tough go of it in this series. Trout is 0 for 9. Batting .338, still leading the American League. 24 home runs as well. Here's the 0-1 from Max. And it missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's almost a must to keep Trout off the base pass if you're going to have a chance to beat this Angels team, because once he gets on first, he is stealing second. If he happens to hit a double, he is stealing third. Dynamic young player.
The 1-1 is in for a strike. 1 and 2 on Trout. Well, he hadn't been able to do a whole lot in this series. In fact, 0 for his first 2 days, and he's yet to go 0 for 3 consecutive days. So let's see if the Tigers can keep him off the bases here this afternoon. Here's the 1-2. Way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good hitters always make adjustments, so Trout will make some adjustments. Let's just hope those adjustments are made once he leaves Comerica Park. But you have to give the Tigers pitching staff a lot of credit the way they've pitched a lot of these Angels players.
Now the 2-2. Fouled straight back. Trout is 1 for 3 against Max with a home run. In fact, it was the only run that Max allowed against the Angels on July 19th. And Scherzer has had a dominant year. He's racked up a ton of strikeouts. 186 to be exact. And a ground ball left side. Diving stop at third by Baker from one knee. No chance with the speed that Trout has. Infield hit as we check out the rest of the Angels lineup in this one. Presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Trout. He'll be followed by his Turris and Hunter. Kendrys Morales batting cleanup. Then Trumbo. He has struggled as well. Kendrick, Ibar, Wells, and Iannetta rounding out the Angels starting lineup. Here is his Turris. Trout with 41 steals down at first base has been caught just 4 times this year. And a strike called on his Turris.
His Turris not afraid to take a strike, as he just did there, to allow Trout to try to get a jump off of first base to steal the bag. Socha does not necessarily have to sacrifice in this situation because of the ability of Trout to steal second.
Max has done a really good job this year, a better job of holding runners on. He has altered his pickoff throws to first base, held the ball a little bit longer every now and then, so he's gotten better in that respect. Here's the 0-1. Sliced back out of play, 0-2. Here are the numbers on Scherzer, presented by Soaring Eagle Casino.
Well, Max has been quite the strikeout artist this year. 186 punch-outs, 147 and 2/3 innings logged, and that earned run average just continues to inch its way down to 4. So Max is having a real good year. He's also won 13 games.
There's the better move to first base, a really quick move by Scherzer.
Alex Avila, who obviously is not catching today, has been tremendous at throwing out would-be base stealers in this homestand, and Gerald Lair is going to get an opportunity here real early today. I can't remember a time where Avila was throwing the ball any better than he's throwing it right now.
Agreed. There's a line drive to left center. That ball is going to get down, base hit. Trout is on his way to third. He'll make it standing up, and the Angels have the first 2 men on. Singles by Trout and his Turris.
It's the second hit that Max has already given up in this game on his breaking ball, and both have come with 2 strikes. He's got to locate that a little bit better. Look at Trout here. I don't know if he was trying to lull Dirks to sleep a little bit by slowing down and then turning on the jets to get to third base, or if he was really running full speed to begin with.
Either way, he's standing at third right now with nobody out. And Torrey Hunter is standing in. The Angels again today are without Albert Pujols. He will not play. There's a ground ball hit to second base. Bobbled. They'll get second one. Relay to first. Still got the double play despite the bobble. Trout will score. And the Angels take a 1-0 lead. Hunter bouncing into another double play in this series.
That is the 15th grounded into double play this year off the bat of Torrey Hunter. Nice job here by Infante not panicking, and then them still being able to turn the double play, and Hunter can run. Kind of surprised they still turned it over.
Peralta's feed just got the runner. Kendrys Morales the batter. Bases are empty. A run in for the Angels here in the first. And Morales takes the ball low. 2-0. Miguel Cabrera is out of the lineup today for the Tigers. And Pujols out of the lineup today for the Angels. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Back out of play, 2-1.
That calf issue that Pujols is dealing with must be somewhat serious. This is his 4th consecutive game he's not played in.
And he missed the final game in Boston and then all 3 here. Pujols, of course, gives them a lot of offense. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Kendrys Morales. Just as the lack of Cabrera changes the dynamic of the Tigers lineup, likewise Pujols for LA. Here's the 2-2. That's lined to right field. It's heading toward the wall, and it's one hop against the wall. Morales on his way to second, and he will pull in with a stand-up double.
Beaumont Health System will sponsor the Tigers defensive alignment this afternoon. Dirks in left, Jackson in center, Brennan Bosch in right. Fielder, Infante Peralta, and Baker in the infield, and Gerald Laird getting the start here today.
Jeff Baker is filling in at third base today for Miguel Cabrera defensively. So Morales with his 17th double That's his first hit of the series. Strike called on Trumbo. It's a third hit in this inning now for the Angels. Well, Trumbo hadn't done a whole lot either in this series. 1 for 8, and really it's a continuation of a tough month of August. He's hitting just .218 this month. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. He has done a lot of that in this series as well. 0-2. Smiley last night did a really good job against Trumbo. Struck him out 3 times.
Max has already given up 2 hits. 2 of the 3 in this inning have come after he's gotten 2 strikes on the hitter. He'll have to make a better pitch here against Trumbo.
Now the 0-2. Trumbo wouldn't chase. 1-2 the count. Scherzer looking for his 14th win. He has won each of the last 3 times he has gone out. In fact, he hasn't lost a game since the end of July. And the Angels have an early 1-0 lead in this one. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Howie Kendrick waiting on deck. He's had himself a fine series for Los Angeles. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Trumbo's struggles continue. Angels get a run, though. Here come the Tigers in the bottom of the first. A 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Tigers starting lineup presented by Big Boy. It'll be Austin Jackson at the top. Omar Infante playing and batting second. Andy Dirks will assume the position in third today in the lineup. Prince Fielder at first. Then Delvin the DH. Bosch in right. Bottom 3 today. Peralta, Baker, Laird for Detroit. Irvin Santana, the starting pitcher for the Angels. He is presented by Bill Fox Chevrolet of Rochester.
Overall numbers for Irvin are not pretty. The ERA is approaching 5.5. He's lost 10 games, 50 walks in 141 innings. He's given up 29 home runs, but his last couple of starts, he's gone out there and he's pitched some really good baseball and kept his team in some games.
Well, let's see what he can do here today as Austin Jackson stands in. And the first pitch in for strike 1. Santana is prone to giving up the home run ball. And Jackson looks at a strike. 0-2. AJ didn't really care for that call from Paul Emmett.
They say we won't see a whole lot of 95, 96 mile per hour fastballs today from Santana, as we have witnessed in the past when he has been on the mound against the Tigers.
Did he go? I don't believe so. He did not.
He'll stay right around 90 to 93, but his slider is a good pitch once again for him. And he's also throwing a two-seam fastball, which has allowed him to get a lot of ground balls in the last couple of outings he's been out there.
And he got him strike three. He caught Jackson looking, and the first out of the inning goes via the strikeout.
Let's check out Mike Scioscia's defensive alignment this afternoon. Wells back in left, Trout in center, Hunter in right. All three have been out there for all three games. It's Turris Ivar, Kendrick Trumbo in the infield, and Chris Iannetta is the catcher. Tim Hortons is the sponsor of that defensive alignment.
Bobby Wilson caught the game last night. Iannetta back out there today. There's a high fly ball to left field and hit well. Vernon Wells to the wall. He looks up. He reaches up and he makes the catch. Vernon Wells is playing some left field in this series.
He is a center fielder by trade, and he's won 3 Gold Gloves playing center field. He's once again healthy. The legs are healthy, and he's been running all around Comerica Park in the last 3 days. I thought the Tigers are going to tie the score at 1 on this particular play, but look at the timing of Wells. He knows exactly where the wall is. He's able to elevate and bring back the home run ball.
It clearly would have gone out, but Vernon Wells says not so fast. 2 gone. We'll bring up Andy Dirks, batting in Cabrera's spot today with Miguel getting the day off.
Don't go anywhere. Chances are that Santana may give up a big fly or 2. As you mentioned, he's given up 29 home runs already this year.
That's a lot. 1-1 on Dirks. Here's the 1-1 from Santana. It is outside. 2-1 the count. Andy last season hit third 9 times and hit .348 in those opportunities. Swing and a miss.
There's that slider that Santana's going to throw a lot of today. He's got some pretty good separation in between the fastball at 93 and the breaking ball at 82.
That's in the air to center field. Trout cruising to his left, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Little help from his friends, though, for Santana. Vernon Wells can still get it done, leaping over the wall to pull it back. For 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. What do we have here? Oh, Youper in town. How about a pasty, Rod? You want a pasty? You ever had one?
I've never had one.
You know what? I'm born and raised in Michigan, and I haven't either. Strike one on Howie Kendrick as we get things started here in the second. Kendrick, Ibar, and Vernon Wells. We'll shoot that one foul down the right field line. 0-2. A run in the first on a double play ball. That's the only scoring.
We'll have to make that one of our things to do, or one of our things to eat, is get us a pasty.
We're going to have to go to the UP. Spend some time up there. Bouncing ball back up the middle. That's going to be another hit. Because if there's food involved, I'm in.
You got that right.
I know you are as well. So we're on the same page there.
One of the things that Max does not do very well is he does not get himself in a good position to field ground balls when they hit right back at him, because there's a little violence in his delivery. You can see the foot still in the air when that ball is whistled past him by Howie Kendrick.
That's another 0-2 hit for Kendrick. He's had 4 of those in this series.
More importantly, it's the third hit Max has given up today with 2 strikes. And Max has been a strikeout artist. When he gets ahead of hitters with 2 strikes, usually he's been able to put those guys away.
Here's Ibar. Getting back to his defensive position, there really isn't a whole lot you can do about that, is there? I mean, you're changing his follow through otherwise, and I'm not sure you want to do that.
It's a great point.
That one skittered right by him back up the middle, and so the Angels now have 4 hits.
But you can't get caught watching the action at home plate, though. You have to get that ball in and out of your hand, and then try to the best of your ability to get yourself in a position where you may be able to help yourself. Let's take one more look at it. I think you got caught kind of just watching what's going on at home plate. Instead of throwing it, okay, now I got a job to do.
Second straight frame. The Angels have gotten a leadoff man on. Ibar batting .279. And he lines this one foul down the right field line. 1-1.
For the most part, we really haven't, at least in the first game. I didn't watch yesterday's game, but we really haven't seen the really aggressive managerial style of Mike Scioscia in a couple of these games. And by and large, the pitchers have been able to keep a lot of these base runners off the base paths. But he is, I don't know, probably your most aggressive manager in this league.
And if opponents are getting on base, Avila has been able to throw a few of them out. And really, when you look at the last 2 opponents, the Angels and Blue Jays, both teams that really like to mix it up on the base paths.
Top 2 and 3 in those respective categories, still in bags.
But they've been held in check, and a lot of that has to do with Avila's throwing prowess. Here's the 1-1. He shows bunt, lays it down, foul, third base side. That is a big part of Ibar's game. He leads the majors with 15 bunt singles this year.
That's a lost art these days. You don't see many guys bunting for many hits. I think Rod Carew one year had like 29 bunt hits.
Really?
Yeah.
That's believable. I mean, he was an outstanding bunter.
He's the main reason why some of those kids in Minnesota are such really good bunters. Ben Revere comes to mind. Alexi Cassie is a pretty good bunter as well. They all work with Carew in spring.
Chopped foul. 1-2 on Ibar. Tigers with their win last night, now 68-58, so they're back to 10 over the 500 mark, but they still trail Chicago, who
they won't lose.
Yeah, all of a sudden they've won 5 in a row now.
Cannot lose.
Popped up. Here comes Scherzer. He's going to be called off, though, by Baker, who comes in for the basket catch. Looked like Laird was setting himself up, but Baker called him off. 1 out.
That's a long ways for the third baseman to come in and take a pop-up.
Play reminded me of the play Greinke made in the first game of the series when the pitcher actually ran all that way and made the play. Here's Vernon Wells. He's already made a home run saving catch in this game. Ball outside, 1-0. Vernon missed a lot of time this year, 55 games with a thumb injury. He's had a nice series. He is homered. He has 3 hits. Kendrick at first base with 1 out. Another spectacular day here at the ballpark today with a huge crowd. 83 our game time temp. And the 1-0. We'll get back out of play. We remind you this game this afternoon is available in high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Xfinity from Comcast. One ball and 1 strike on the veteran Vernon Wells, who has hit 9 home runs this year. And Scherzer missing outside, 2-1. Wells earlier this season hit his 250th career home run. That was way back in April before the injury. Had some really good years with the Toronto Blue Jays. In fact, he knocked in over 100 3 different times in Toronto. Runner bluffs. A stumbling start down there at first by Kendrick, and he put on the brakes. Now he's going to do some landscape work down there. Meanwhile, 3-1 on Vernon Wells. And he walked him. That'll put 2 aboard. First walk of the ball game for Max. And now the number 9 hitter, Chris Iannetta. Couple of singles in the first game, did not play yesterday. And Iannetta has been one of their hotter hitters. He's 9 for his last 18. Leadoff single by Kendrick. He's at second. A walk to Vernon Wells. A ball outside, 1-0.
If you're the middle infielders and you know how aggressive the Los Angeles Angels run the bases, with the facts that fielder is not holding on Vernon Wells at first base, you as a middle infielder, you know you have to really hurry if you're going to turn 2 if the ball's hit on the ground. And we watched a play a couple of days ago where Hunter was able to get a piece of Infante on a similar type play. So very important to recognize the situation and know that you have to hurry, because Wells has just as much speed as Hunter does.
And the breakup of that double play turned out to be huge.
Oh, big play in the game.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on Iannetta.
Here's that play we're talking about, the 6th inning a couple days ago. You see where Hunter was? Prince wasn't holding him on. He got a piece of Infante. Infante did not complete the double play. And then a big hit by Howie Kendrick drove in a couple in that inning. You don't worry so much if that base runner is a guy that doesn't run too much if you're a middle infielder. But if a guy's athletic and can run, you know there's going to be contact.
1-2 on Iannetta. Yeah, the 2-run double that followed in that inning turned out to be the game-winning hit. One ball, 2 strikes. Iannetta batting .244. Earlier this year, caught Jared Weaver's no-hitter. And another bluff to second base.
The Angels have stolen third base 11 times as a team this year, and that's why Max is paying extra special attention to Kendrick. Although Kendrick not a burner, if you forget about him, they will try to steal that base.
Ibar tried to steal third last night. It was thrown out. Two balls, two strikes on the number 9 hitter, Chris Iannetta. Max gave up 3 hits, but only 1 run in that first inning, courtesy of a double play. He's thrown 37 pitches now, 20 in that first frame.
Max wants some contact right here, and preferably he'll take that ground ball contact. He does not want to see Mike Trout. Trout, although struggling in the series, one of their better hitters with runners in scoring position.
Swing and a miss. So there are 2 gone. Scherzer gets his second strikeout, and that'll bring up Trout. He started the game by reaching on an infield hit, bumping his average to 340. And he looks at strike 1. Here's the Farmers Insurance report card. MLB rookies to score 100 runs in a season since 2002. Jackson did it a couple of years ago, scored 103. And Trout now with an even 100. 2 very talented center fielders. Here's the 0-1. Just missed with it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Trout made the All-Star team this year. In fact, he picked up a hit in that game and became the youngest player to get a hit in the All-Star game since Al Kaline in 1955. He's doing a lot of things that not many have done at a young age. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Max reaching back for 96. He threw it by him.
He's thrown him 2 quality fastballs. One at the bottom of the zone at 92 that was painted beautifully on the outside black, and that one he just kind of overpowered the youngster.
There's only been one other Angel in their history to score 100 runs as a rookie, and that was Devon White.
Devo.
Back in '87.
He was smooth.
Yes, he was. Inside, backs him out of there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a good pitch, and that's one of the reasons why Trout's numbers have been somewhat down in the series. That's a major reason why Trumbo's numbers have been down in the series. The starting pitchers of the Tigers, they've been going inside with regularity on these 2 guys.
And that last one came in at 99. Now the 2-2. Got him, strike 3 in the outside corner.
What a pitch.
Trout is caught looking, and the Angels strand 2. Max has his 3rd strikeout of the game. As we go to the bottom of the second here at the ballpark, Angels on top 1-0. They scored a run on a double play ball by Torrey Hunter back in the first. Prince Fielder leads it off. It'll be Fielder, Young, and Bosch. And Prince has had some nice numbers against Irvin Santana.
Today might be one of those days where Prince doesn't get a chance to really play all that much. You mentioned good numbers against Santana and the fact that there is no Cabrera in the lineup this afternoon.
He looks at a strike on the inside part of the plate. 1-1. Fielder at 309 has hit 22 home runs this year. His next RBI will be his 90th as he marches toward 100 again this season. Santana's 1-1 is put on the ground to second base. In short right field, Kendrick has it. And Prince is out, one gone.
It was nice to see some of the guys at the bottom of the batting order get busy in last night's game. Delmon Young had 3 hits in the game, the first of which went into that right center field gap, and that's what Delmon's been doing with regularity, and that's why his batting average is kind of perked up in the last 3 weeks or so. Also went up the middle, also went to left field, and Johnny Peralta did a very nice job. He hit one up the middle, then got the biggest hit in the 8th inning. That was down the left field line. So real nice night for Delmon and a really special night for Peralta as well.
And before yesterday, Delmon's last 3-hit game was on June the 1st. And bumped his average up to 269. He's 3 out of 8 in the series. A couple of doubles. Santana missing wide. 1 ball, 1 strike. Young now has had 10 hits on this homestand. Trying to get something started here in the second. 1-0 Angels. There's the 1-1 pitch. Inside. Bends him out of there.
Good pitch by Santana. Delmon obviously has been real comfortable last couple of weeks. So your job as a pitcher is to disrupt his timing. Get him off your outside breaking ball.
Here's the 2-1. 3-1. Angels are looking for better things from Santana, and he has delivered over his last 5 starts. His ERA is about 3.5. So he's been a little bit better. That's in there. Run it to 3-2 now on Young.
Well, Socia has to be encouraged with the effort that he got just a couple of days ago from Zach Greinke. And also Dan Herron pitched a lot like Dan Herron yesterday against Tigers.
That's pulled down the left field line. Fair ball. Another hit for Delmon Young. On his way to second, he will pull in with a 1-out double. He is hot.
Santana's already thrown quite a few breaking balls in the game, and this one was not a really good one. And it was buggy whipped down that left field line by Delmon for a stand-up double. Delmon taking them little short choppy steps.
All the way to his 3rd double.
He takes some little short ones, doesn't he?
He does. Oh, my goodness.
Not supposed to stride out there.
Yeah, not Delmon. Looks like Fred Flintstone trying to start his car.
Look, chop, 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 chop.
0-1 on Bosch. Delmon now 3 doubles in the series. 11 hits on the homestand. Now the Tigers got to get him in. Bosch 1 for 4 in the series.
Must be Delmon's mustache.
That's probably it. I was thinking the same thing.
Thought Shannon had that today, talking about Delmon's mustache.
Young has the Tigers' first hit here this afternoon. Bosch takes a ball high. 2-1 the count. Hitting in the 6th spot in the lineup is Bosch. Jim Leland's had to do some juggling with Miguel Cabrera out of the lineup. The hope is he can get a day off today. Of course, the team has an off day tomorrow. And he should be good to go in KC. That's way outside. 3-1.
Well, it looks like they're pitching around Bosch by design with the base open and hoping that maybe Peralta will hit something on the ground, which would get them a double play and get them out of the inning. But if you're Bosch, you really can't be thinking that way. You have to simply be sitting on your fastball right now. And if you get it, well, you need to make sure you're ready for it.
So let's see if he gets it. 3-1 is the count. And he looks at ball 4, so he will take his base. Double and a walk. And that'll bring up Peralta. Two out of 8. The big 2 RBI double in last night's ball game for Johnny. He electrified the crowd last night in the 8th inning with that 2-run double, and then later in the frame, Avila knocked in another. Now the Tigers down by a run. We'll see what Peralta can do here. 259 this year for Johnny. Ball 1. Tigers trying to get to Santana here. He has defeated Detroit 4 straight times and is 6-2 lifetime against the Detroit Tigers. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Irvin, 29 years old, out of San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic.
There's a whole lot of people going down to the Dominican Republic these days to vacation. A lot of people.
It apparently has some really nice beaches.
Nice resorts.
I have never been to the Dominican.
I played down there a couple times, but you really don't get a chance to enjoy it as much as you would if you were just going there and not doing anything.
The 1-2 is fouled off. Just got a piece of it.
They got ice cold Presidentes down there.
I don't know what those are. What are those?
You don't know the Presidentes? No. Ice cold beverages they have down in Dominican.
But Hurricane Isaac right now is wreaking some havoc in that area. 1-2 the count. And he nubs it foul off the end of the bat. Well, Santana now will get a visit from his catcher, Iannetta.
Don't forget that the Tigers will host the Chicago White Sox this Saturday at 7:05. The first 10,000 fans receive a Miguel Cabrera 300th home run poster. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. This place is going to be rocking next weekend.
And that's a sweet looking poster too. Cabby hitting his 300th, and of course you got the White Sox in. It'll be fun to watch the Tigers and Sox down the stretch. 1-2 on Peralta. One run, 4 hits for Los Angeles. No runs, 1 hit for the Tigers. We're in the bottom of the second. And a drive in the air to center. Trout backing up. Delman tagging up. Catch is made. Here comes the throw from Trout. And Delman will get to third. 2 gone.
It's a nice job here by Delman. And once he realized the ball was going to be caught by Trout, he gets back and he tags up and he gets over to third base. There's several different ways that you can score from third base that you really can't from second. Infield single, so to speak, wild pitch, balk.
Jeff Baker will stand in. Runners at first and third. And Santana trying to dig himself out of a hole here. He's given up a double and a walk. Baker 2 out of 4 in the series. In the air to right field. Torrey Hunter is there, and that is that. Tigers threaten but leave a couple, and you're watching Tigers baseball this afternoon, presented by Bell Tire. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Arby's. Play Arby's new Snap and Rock promotion. Snap a picture of your cup, send and win. And by AT DET, the nation's largest 4G network. AT DET, rethink possible. Final game in this series here this afternoon. So far, the Angels are leading by a 1-0 score as we go to the top of the third. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad you're with us here this afternoon. Brady Klima is our producer, and Brian Moss is our director. And we're trying to make good on that birthday wish. It is another warm one here today. And Kids Day, of course, every Sunday here at the ballpark. Scherzer back to work. And it's strike one on Meister as Turris. The 0-1 for Max is shot foul down the left field line. Scherzer so far in this game has fanned a total of 3. And this year Max has gone double digits 4 times in strikeouts. And on top of that, he's had 6 other games in which he has fanned 9. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing ball to short. Ranging left is Peralta. And one gone as Turris is out of there. We'll go back to the studio now for a game break. Here's Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. You know, coming into play today, Rob, the Yankees' lead in the East was down to 3.5.
Really?
Yeah, Tampa surging.
Tampa can pitch. Tampa won a calendar month with a team ERA under 2.
Pretty impressive. There's a strike called 1-1 on Torrey Hunter.
And they got Evan Longoria back. And he's really the only bona fide superstar they have in that order. Joe Madden, outstanding manager.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
I did not know that Cleveland, after having a 12-game losing streak earlier this year, they had a 9-game losing streak before they won that game yesterday.
Yeah, that's how much they have really been struggling. Missed it low and away. 2-2 on Hunter. Because of that, those 2 long losing streaks become a 2-team race in the Central, Detroit and Chicago.
Just the way we like it.
Absolutely. Actually, I'd prefer a 1-team race, Detroit, but it's the next best thing.
It's nothing like being in the pennant race in September. I mean, when you go to spring training, that's the one thing you hope for as a team. All 30 teams.
That's skied in the air to right. Bosch coming in toward the line. Foul ground. Brennan hauls it in. 2 gone. It's the time of the year where you start to live and die, not on an every at bat, but literally every pitch, because it means so much down the stretch.
Especially with the added wild card. It's going to be fun.
Here's Kendrys Morales. Doubled, did not score back in the first. Angels 1 run, 4 hits. Tigers no runs, 1 hit. And Morales looks at a strike, 0-1. Kendrys earlier this year homered from both sides of the plate in the same inning. A rare feat. In fact, the only other 2 to do it, Baerga and Bellhorn, Mark Bellhorn. Kendrys did it earlier this year. He's hit 16 home runs this season. And the 0-2. Back out of play.
See, that's a pitch right there that Max just threw right down the middle, albeit 97. If you get it up or you get it out a little bit, you can get a swing and miss here. But it's right down the middle. Guys that throw 91, 92, they don't get away with that pitch right there.
1-2 the count on Morales. And he tipped it out of the glove of Gerald Laird.
One of the pitches that has been a very good pitch for Max about the last 6-7 starts. And it's allowed him to do better against left-handed batters. Breaking balls down and in.
That one is pulled foul. Here's the Mazda scouting report on Max Scherzer. As you check out his numbers the last 3 seasons, he's already eclipsed the previous 2 in the strikeout category.
Well, hopefully he gets above 15 wins, which he had last year as well.
That'd be nice. Fall high. 2-2. Max has won each of his last 3. He's defeated Texas, Minnesota, and Toronto. Bouncer right to the first baseman fielder. Going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning for Scherzer. On our way to the bottom of the 3rd. A cold one to look forward to. Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. One nothing is our score as we go to the bottom of the third. And a very warm afternoon here at the ballpark. And Irvin Santana back to the hill. Gerald Laird looks at a strike, his first at bat this afternoon. And Laird has chewed up right-handed pitching this year. He's batting .429 against righties. Here's the 0-1. That's off the end of the bat. That number is going to come down a tick. One gone.
Yeah, they hired Laird this year to pretty much get the bulk of the work against left-handed pitching and do damage against lefties. But as you mentioned, he's doing much better against righties. Meanwhile, Santana 7 of 9 in first pitch strikes. They're through the batting order the first time.
Ran into a little bit of trouble in the second when he allowed the double to Delman Young, and then he walked Bosch. But he got a couple of fly ball outs. Jackson hits one foul on the ground. No balls and one strike. Well, Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, made a big splash in the offseason, going out and getting Pujols and C.J. Wilson as free agents. And I think all the folks in Southern California thought this is the year they're getting back to the World Series, but it's been a struggle for them.
It's no guarantee. You still have to go out and play the games.
As it stands coming into play today, the Angels were in third in the West behind the surprising Athletics, and they were 9.5 out.
Artie Moreno also gave the okay for them to go out and acquire Zach Greinke at the trade deadline.
Swing and a miss. It looks like the Angels' better shot at getting to the playoffs now is via the wild card. Two balls, two strikes.
What was your take on the blockbuster deal that the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Dodgers made yesterday?
You know, I'm still looking at that trade, trying to figure it out, because the Dodgers really picked up a whole lot of money in their contracts to Gonzalez and Crawford and Beckett.
Is there a part of you that think Crawford can do what he did in Tampa?
No. And maybe that's just being too harsh, but I mean, he just had Tommy John surgery. He had struggled in his, maybe struggled is not a really good way to put it, but wasn't as good, I think, with the Red Sox when he was healthy, if he ever was.
Because for me, he's the key to the deal.
No doubt.
I mean, Beckett obviously is Josh Beckett. And yes, they did take on some money by acquiring him, but Gonzalez is going to do what he does every year. And that's 330 and drive in 100 and win Gold Gloves. Now, if they can get Crawford being Crawford again, that's a good deal for them.
It is, but it's a big if. Yeah, and it still is a whole lot of money to add to their payroll, which apparently is not going to be a big issue. But for the Red Sox, they're a whole lot different looking today than they were when we just saw them.
They've got money to spend, though, in the offseason, though. They'll be right back in it.
1-2, look out.
We've seen Santana already do that a couple of times today. And go high and tight against right-handed batters. Infante nearly missed a home run his last time up.
Vernon Wells climbed the wall and pulled it back. This time Santana stays away. 3-2 on Omar Infante. And he walked him. So it's a 2-out base on balls. It's going to bring up Andy Dirks. 2 walks this afternoon for Irvin Santana. Dirks flied out his first time up. And he had a couple of hits yesterday. And he shoots one in the air to right field. Hit well. Hunter is on the run. Still going back. This one is off the wall. That'll get a run in. Infante comes around to score. Dirks on his way to third. It's a triple. Another big hit for Andy.
Andy Dirks batting in that number 3 spot for the very first time this year. Gets himself an 89-mile-per-hour fastball. And Jim says, always give me that guy that could drive somebody in from first base. And that guy can play for me, and that's exactly what Dirks did there. He clobbered that ball off the gate in right center field. And by the time Torrey ran it down for Wells to pick it up, Dirks standing on third with his third triple of the season.
Almost hit it out.
That ball was hit on the line. Most ballparks, it's a home run.
He'll settle for the 3-bagger. He's the go-ahead run at third base now. Here's Prince Fielder. And a strike on Prince. He grounded out to second base his first time up. It all started with a 2-out walk to Omar Infante.
Tigers scored all 5 of their runs yesterday with 2 outs. And when they were going good in the month of July they were doing a good fair share of their damage after 2 were out. A lot of clutch hitting.
Yeah, that was a common occurrence. Infante draws the walk and scores on the triple by Dirks. And he had a single in last night's game in the 8th to set up the big inning. He went around there, and Prince not a fan of that call. 1-2. Santana won 17 games just a couple of years ago, 2010. Here's the 1-2. Lifted back out of play down the left field line. Prince playing in his 308th consecutive ball game. And the 1-2. That's in the air to center field. Hit a ton. Trout going back, still going back, under it for the out to end the inning. Big hit to tie it up, courtesy of Andy Dirks. It's a triple. Two of the top strikeout artists in the game, Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, and they wear the Tigers' Old English D. Scherzer is on the hill for this one here this afternoon in a 1-1 ball game. And there's a ball high to Mark Trumbo. Verlander right now with 192 strikeouts. Max right behind him at 189. Top two in the big leagues. It'll be Trumbo, Kendrick, and Ibar facing the right-hander Scherzer. Swing and a miss.
Good pitch there. First time up. A steady dose of fastballs by Max to Trumbo. Therefore, Trumbo was sitting on that fastball and couldn't hold up and swung right through the real good breaking ball by Scherzer.
Waving a miss again. Trumbo has struck out 6 times in this series.
Well, if you're Trumbo about right now, you really don't know what you're going to get. Could be fastball up, and he could simply go with another slide piece.
Swing and a miss.
Slide piece.
The punch outs are piling up for Trumbo.
First pitch fastball missed the zone at about 97 up, and then he went down with 3 consecutive sliders. The last one swung right through, just like the first 2 were by Trumbo.
Here's Howie Kendrick, a single to start things off in the second, did not score. In there for strike 1. 1 run, 4 hits for LA. For the Tigers, a run on 2 hits, neither team with an error. And the 0-1. 0-2. In his last 8 home starts, Scherzer has an ERA of 2.5, and he's 5-1. He's been dominant here at home. Here's the 1-2. See you later. Kendrick strikes out. 5 punch outs. Scherzer on a roll.
He got Trumbo with the slider. He comes back to get Kendrick with a well located slider. Change up there.
Five strikeouts now for Max. Ball 1-2 Ibar. He popped up back in the second.
It looks like to me that we're starting to see a pitcher in Max that is pitching with a world of confidence, that appears to be turning the corner into a premier starter in this league.
That's down the right field line, hooking toward the corner, and it is foul. 1-1 on Ibar. I would agree with that. He's pretty much. There was always that talk about, can he take it to the next level, and the next level being more consistent for Max, and I think he's done that.
It's almost like when he goes out there every 5th day, you're expecting a dominant performance, and you're expecting your team to really have a legitimate chance to win.
Ibar grounds it foul. 1-2. Tigers pitching on this homestand has really been outstanding in their last 10. Opponents are hitting just .216 against the Tigers, and here are Scherzer's numbers in his last 7 starts.
Sub-3 ERA.
Checked it. Did not go. 2-2 on Eric Ibar. 1-1 game in the 4th. That'll get back out of play. Ibar came in batting .380 in the month of August. He is 0 for 1 in this game. Angels locked him up to a 4-year extension back in the month of April. And the 2-2. Rolled this one to first base right at Prince. That'll be an easy play. Scherzer has retired 8 straight. He's on a roll. These are the places to turn for college football. On FSN, Appalachian State takes on Eastern Carolina. On FX, Marshall battles 11th ranked West Virginia. Then 4th rated Oklahoma takes on UTEP on FSN. College football begins next Saturday at noon on FSN and FX. So the Tigers tied up at 1 here with the Angels in the final game in this series. It'll be Delman Young leading it off. Delman, then Bosch, then Peralta. Santana fires it home and misses outside. 1-1. 2-base hit for Delman back in the second, but was left stranded. They got him as far as third base. And Young takes outside again. 2-1. Santana allowing a run on the triple by Dirks in the third, which tied it up. 2-2 on Delman. 4 for his last 5 with 3 2-base hits. Bouncing ball foul, third base side. Delman has had to play the outfield the last couple of games with Cabrera DHing. He's back to the DH spot today, and he rolls one back to the mound. He had him reaching. Santana throws him out, 1 gone. How about we check out our Jimmy John's leaderboard today? Biggest ERA jump from 2011 to this year. Well, Santana's on that list. His ERA is almost actually over 2 points higher.
Take a look at the players on the list. Ricky Romero, Tim Lincecum, Beckett, Herron. Some guys that have had a lot of success.
Yeah, big names. We just saw Romero earlier on the homestand, and he had trouble throwing strikes.
He walked 8 batters. 8.
Bosch, the hitter, 0-1 the count.
And didn't have 1 strikeout.
It's not often your manager will allow you to stick around for 8 walks. There's a drive to left center field, but Vernon Wells is there. Bosch is out, 2 gone. And that'll bring up Johnny Peralta. Santana and Scherzer hooked up in a good one today. 1-1 game in the 4th. Tigers got another 2-out run today with a walk to Infante and a triple by Dirks in the 3rd. Johnny fly to center field his first time up. Ball 1. Driven to center field right at Trout. And Santana has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Let's go to the 5th.
Exactly what you get. You get the overpowering fastball in the upper 90s. We're also showing you the grip on that fastball as we are on the slider. Real nice separation in speed differentials from 97 about 85 with the slider. And then when he's not using those two, he simply goes to a fading changeup or a changeup that kind of acts like a forkball, which he features with 2 strikes, and that's the one he gets lots of strikeouts on.
5 punch outs today for Max. Over 74 pitches thrown in this contest. And now it'll be Vernon Wells, Chris Iannetta, Mike Trout. You take on the right-hander?
You must force Vernon Wells into using the big part of the ballpark, which would be center field to right center field over to that right field line. When he pulls the baseball, that's when he does his major damage.
Base on balls in the second for Vernon Wells. Scherzer has retired 8 consecutive Angels hitters. They got a run in the first. Haven't scored since. And it was looking like the Angels might put together a big first inning, but a double play ball by Torrey Hunter.
That's something else that's been very encouraging about Max in his last 7 starts or so, that he may not get off to a really good start, but he kind of limits the damage against him early if he's struggling with his command.
He's been able to reel it in.
And then once he figures it out, he can just be overpowering.
Jim Leland was asked the question before the game today, why is that? How does he have that ability to do it? And he says, I have no idea. You'll have to ask Max that. I'm not sure he's got the answer, but he finds a way to get it straightened out quickly.
I think Jeff Jones has really honed in on just a couple of areas of Max's body when he does get out of sync. Jones, we played a soundbite the last time Max pitched, and he said that he can really notice the hand position of Max and where he's setting, and those are some of the things that Jones looks for now when Max is having a hard time of finding the strike zone. And they were able to correct it rather quickly.
Now the 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Vernon Wells. Iannetta waiting on deck, and then Trout, the leadoff man. Here's the 2-2. Off the end of the bat, foul. 2-2 the count remains. This is an Angels team that, coming into play today, was trailing only Texas. In terms of team average, Texas 279, the Angels 274. Tigers third on that list at 270. But the last 2 days, the pitching has been the story. Last 3 days, actually. 2-2. Hit to the right side. Easy hop there for Infante. Wells is out.
Hey fans, pink out the park on September 5th when the Tigers play the Indians at 7:05. $26 ticket packages include a pink Tiger's breast, a health awareness t-shirt. For tickets, visit tigers.com/pinkout.
That's still getting you, isn't it?
You know, the last time I read that, and it's been a while, I put a highlighter underneath that so I wouldn't say call.
Oh. Did it work?
I mean, it gets to the point with some of these promos, you read them so much, you take for granted that the phone number is going to be there. And there is a couple that the phone number is just not there. And I just continue to want to blurt it out.
There's a swing and a miss by Iannetta, and the count is 0-2. 9 straight set down by Max. He's allowed 4 hits in this game. Santana has allowed just 2. And the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good leadership there by Gerald Laird. He called for the breaking ball, and then he put his glove on the ground, motioning to Max. This is where I want the breaking ball. Make sure you get it on the ground. And Max did.
Swing and a miss. Well, he's starting to pile up now.
He's doing some pitching now. Changing some eye levels. Breaking ball down. 96-mile-per-hour fastball up.
6 strikeouts for Scherzer. Here's Trout. He struck him out back in the second. Trout has had only one hit in the series. Max has gone 7 straight starts now, which has struck out at least 8, and it looks like he's going to get there again today. Here's the 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled straight back. 1-2 the count on Trout, who has gained notoriety for his defensive skills almost as much as his offensive skills. He is one of those fearless guys in the outfield. And they used to have another guy who played the same type of defensive center field, who wore the same number, Darren Erstad, number 27. Now the head coach at Nebraska, their college baseball team. That's fouled back out of play. 1-2 the count stays on Mike Trout. And again the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Trout strikes out for the second time in the game. 7 of them now for Max. You talk about getting on a roll. He has retired 11 straight. The 5th inning, and time now for the AT&T trivia question. Here it is. Which Tiger had the highest average in their first season at Comerica Park? Highest average in their first season playing here at Comerica Park. Prince Fielder's had a really good start to his Tigers career here. He's at 326. Meanwhile, Baker with a single to center field.
It's one of the main reasons why Prince is hitting over 300 this year. He's kind of adapted to this ballpark. Hitting balls to left field, center field, right field. Nice approach here by Baker as well. That ball whistled right past the head of Santana.
What are you doing with Gerald here? You bunt him?
I would bunt him.
Gerald tapped out to the mound his first time up.
But you know how Jim is. When he thinks that everybody thinks that the bunt is in order, he'll give the guy one swing, and then if he does not do the job, he'll simply put on the bunt after that.
That's the beauty of going up against a couple of really good managers, like Leland and also Socha. There are no surprises. Both guys are always on top of their games.
No sign of bunt, and a ball outside, 1-0.
Jim can go a couple different ways now. He can go hit and run. Gerald's done nice work this year against right-handed pitching. If you weren't with us earlier, I also told you that Santana has been throwing a lot of ground balls the last couple of outings with a little 90, 91 mile per hour sinker.
Runner goes, and it's bounced back up the middle. Ibar has one play, and he throws him out.
It's a wise decision there by Jim. Putting on the hit and run to stay out of the double play. Ibar won a Gold Glove last year at that shortstop position. A real nice exchange, and gets the out at first. Also some nice communication there between Kendrick, the second baseman, and Ibar, the shortstop. Easier play for the shortstop.
Well, Austin Jackson now trying to deliver the go-ahead hit here. 1-1 game in the bottom of the 5th. AJ with a couple of strikeouts so far against Santana. In there for strike one. Tigers have their 3rd hit of the game. The leadoff single by Baker. There's a high fly ball, right field. It'll be a routine play for Hunter, and Baker will hold. 0 for 3 day for Austin Jackson. 2 gone. We'll bring up Infante. It started to be a situation where Omar was batting second in the lineup only against left-handed pitching, but now Jim's got their just about out there every day in the number 2 hole.
Well, apparently he likes the work that Omar has done there in that number 2 spot, and hitting behind Jackson in front of Cabrera.
Seems to be a good spot for him. He's got a walk in the ball game today, and looked like he was going to hit a homer back in the 1st that Vernon Wells made a leaping catch on, pulling it back over the wall and left. Infante sits safely in his last 7. In there for a strike, 1-1. .67 pitches for Santana as we play here in the 5th. You see 1-1. Popped up foul back out of play. 1-2.
If you did not tune in at 1 o'clock, you probably missed this. Omar made a bid for a solo home run in the 1st inning, and Wells wasn't having any of that.
Wells has played a terrific series defensively and left. Swing and a miss, and Infante goes down. Inning over. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We're on our way to the 6th. afternoon. It's been an entertaining game so far. 1-1 pitching dominance so far. And, well, September call-ups are right around the corner, Rod. Here are some guys that potentially could be called back up at that point. Of course, you got Ryan Rayburn. It'd be good to see Al Albuquerque come back up. I think Holiday is probably a lock because the Tigers need another catcher.
And Danny Worth, we've seen him several times this year. Gives Jim lots of options off his bench when he does find himself in a game where he has to substitute 2 or 3 of his infielders. You don't worry about Worth going into a game and catching the baseball for you.
Danny Worth probably knows every exit on the freeway between here and Toledo.
He's had 5 different stints, I believe, between Toledo and Detroit this year.
And I would imagine he would give the Tigers some backup infield depth. Those are just speculations on our point, but we'll see. I know Jim said there won't be too many. Don't expect too many.
Well, he doesn't like to clutter his bench. And since Jim's been the manager here, the Tigers have been in the hunt for a playoff spot every single year. So you just don't want to bring up guys just to bring up guys if you're not going to use them.
Well, we chatted about this on Tigers Live pregame a little bit. Of course, Castellanos is the big name that everybody wants to see up here, and Bruce Rondon, the reliever that throws 100 miles an hour, but they're not on the roster right now, the 40-man. So the Tigers would have to weigh whether or not it's worth clearing a spot on the roster for them to see if they can help them win a game or two.
I don't think it would be any question in them doing something like that if they felt like those guys could really help them down the stretch.
Swing and a miss, and Scherzer has another strikeout. 8 of them for Max. 1 gone.
Just a really good 4-seam fastball, belt buckle high in the mid-90s that a lot of these Angels hitters have not been able to catch up to today.
Scherzer now has gone 8 consecutive starts with at least 8 punch-outs. Torrey Hunter is 0 for 2. He hadn't struck out yet. Hit into a double play back in the first, knocking in a run. That'll get fouled down the right field line.
Max has simply been one step ahead of the majority of the Angels hitters so far today. He gave up a few hits early in the game, and they were with 2 strikes. He's made that adjustment. He hasn't been making many mistakes with 2 strikes the last 4 innings. He's got Hunter no balls, 2 strikes right now.
Grounded foul.
As always, a byproduct of all the strikeouts that Max racks up. That pitch count's going to get up there.
And it has again here this afternoon. We're in the 6th inning. He's thrown 100 pitches. Reaching and grounding that one foul. Boy, Max sprinting toward the bag at first base. 0-2.
After getting ahead of Torrey Hunter, no balls, 2 strikes. Max has simply gone to the bottom of the strike zone with a 2-seam fastball and a breaking ball. It may not be a bad time to see if you can get Torrey Hunter to swing through one of those mid-90s fastballs up around his letters. That's exactly what they're going to try to get him to do.
Put it in play into shallow right field. Bosch charging. Nice running catch by Brennan. 13 straight retired. 2 gone. Time now for the Ace Hardware Scott's fan poll question of the game. We showed you some of the possible call-ups. Which of these 4 potential September call-ups would have the biggest impact? Would it be Rayburn? Would it be Albuquerque? Would it be Holiday the catcher? Or Danny Worth? Text ACE, then a space, then A, B, C, or D to 37338. With 2 gone now, here's Kendrys Morales. He pops it up. Third base side, foul ground. Baker can't get it.
It's the second time today there's been a little bit of miscommunication over there with Baker and G-Money. Remember, Baker really hadn't played third base all that much here for us. But anything that's hit up and you're the third baseman, it's a much easier play for you than it is for your catcher. So whatever you can catch, you have to try to catch it. And I don't know if he could have got there or not, but if you could catch it, catch it.
looked like there might have been slight hesitation by Baker as he was charging toward that ball. So it keeps Morales alive. There's a strike called. 0-2. So Scherzer gets ahead again. Doubled in this game for Kendrys Morales. 1 for 10 in the series. Fly ball toward left. Heading back to the seats though. Max with 8 strikeouts. He's retired 13 consecutive Angels hitters. And the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Morales. Swing and a miss. A 1-2-3 inning and 9 strikeouts for Max Scherzer.
I see you, Maxwell.
Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price period. Bell Tire, and by Toyota, brought to you by your Greater Detroit Toyota dealer. Back here at the ballpark on a warm afternoon. It's 84 degrees right now here. Nothing but sunshine and a 1-1 game as Andy Dirks leads it off for Detroit. Dirks fielder Young facing Irvin Santana. Andy looks at a ball low, run it to 2-0.
Well, Santana is pitching pretty much like the scouting report that was given to me before the game today. Fastballs would not get up to 95 as they have in the past when we've seen Irvin. He's throwing a lot more sliders. Got good break with it, not making nearly as many mistakes.
Here's the 2-1. He went, says Paul Emmett. Yeah, pretty close. 2-2. Fouled off. Dirks had himself a triple in the third. He's batting in the 3 slot today as Miguel Cabrera gets a day off today. It's a team day off tomorrow. Still battling the sore ankles, so Hopefully he'll be good to go at third base when we get to Kansas City. And he spent some time on the disabled list this year, but since coming back is at a .338 clip. Here's a 3-2. High, ball 4, lead off man on. To the studio we go for a moment. Game break time now with Mickey York. Not at all, Mick. Thank you. Here it is 1-1 as we play in the 6th, and Prince looks at a strike. I'm not a meteorologist, but typically when it's raining in Chicago, later on it's going to be raining in Detroit. Usually that rain heads this way, so they are calling for showers overnight here in the Motor City. The 0-1. Driven deep in the air to right field, way back, and we are tied no longer. Prince makes it 3-1 Detroit. He killed it. That's his 23rd of the year.
That is now the 30th home run that Santana has given up this year, and that is a very dangerous area for any pitcher to pitch a left-handed batter, let alone.
Delman has just gone back-to-back. A power surge here in the 6th, and Santana didn't know it hit him.
Make that 31 big flies that Urban Santana has now surrendered this year. Prince got a fastball at the bottom of the zone, and it appeared that Delman Young got him a slider, and that he absolutely clobbered.
Oh. Only Tommy Hunter has given up more home runs in the American League than Santana. And all of a sudden it's 4-1 Detroit. Neither one of those were cheapies.
Not at all. I was getting ready to say about the one that he gave up to Prince. Most left-handers love the ball down there, let alone a big, strong, physical guy like Prince Fielder. Get this on Santana. I was talking to some people before the game today, and they were talking about the 29 home runs that he had given up already this year, and the question was posed to him earlier this season when he was giving up home runs. What is it that you do, and why do you give up so many home runs with the stuff that you feature? And his answer to that question was, well, don't you know by now I'm a home run pitcher? Huh? I've never heard a pitcher tell the media that I give up lots of home runs. That's just what I do.
Interesting. There's a check swing by Bosch, but he went around. And he'll be tied out.
Just what you'd like to hear when you go at the end of the year and try to negotiate your new contract. Remember, you said you were a home run pitcher, though.
Yeah, but I'm 17 over 500 for my career. Doesn't matter. You're a home run pitcher. You told me that. Jerome Williams warming up in the bullpen for the Angels. So back-to-back home runs, the first back-to-back homers since August the 1st when Cabrera and Prince did it. And Peralta takes the ball inside. Meanwhile, Young with another double and a homer in this game. You can't really get hotter than he is right now. That is popped up. Let's see if it stays in play for Trumbo. It will. 2 gone.
Well, it's good to see Delman swinging the bat the way that he is swinging the bat right now, because during the course of spring training, there were only a couple of guys in the Grapefruit League that had better numbers than DY. He was hitting homers, he was getting lots of hits, and he was driving in lots of runs, and therefore a lot of people anticipated he would have a monster season.
Well, the other good thing is not only is he swinging a hot bat, but he's driving the ball for extra base hits. And he's done a lot of that in this series, double and a homer in this game. He's had a big homestand, 12 hits. Here's Baker. Ball 1 to Jeff Baker. So Scherzer, with the game he has pitched today, fortunately now the Tigers have gotten him 3 here in the 6th inning. The tapper hits slowly back up the middle. Ibar will glove it, and that is that. However, the Tigers able to break the tie. Prince goes first. Delvin goes next.
Today, 2 of those to Trumbo, and take a look at how he pitched him. First pitch, change up, and then he eventually makes enough pitches to get him to swing right through a mid-90s fastball. Next time up, first pitch, change up, and then he goes a different direction. 3 slide pieces in a row to finish off Trumbo, and that's just outstanding pitching by Max and great game calling by Gerald Laird.
So Scherzer answers the bell here in the 7th inning, now leading 4-1.
Speaking of bell, that was our bell tire, pitch by pitch.
It's a nice segue. 2 balls, no strikes on Trumbo. Santana gets rocked for a couple of home runs. Fielder and Young. The Tigers now lead 4-1. Trumbo is fanned twice in this game, and he takes another one inside. 3-0. Bring Laird out to the mound.
I don't know what Trumbo will do here. They're trailing by 3. But if the game was a little closer, there's no doubt he would have the green light to swing at this pitch if he chose to do so. If he chose to do so, excuse me.
Meanwhile, Koch, the lefty, and Villarreal, the righty. There's the 3-0, and he is taking. It's a strike, 3-1. Well, combined now, Trout and Trumbo 2 for 22.
Last time they were here in July, the Tigers could do nothing with those TNT boys. They were dynamite.
Leadoff walk, which will snap the string of 14 straight retired by Scherzer.
But really, you have to kind of give the Tigers pitchers a lot of credit, because the first time they had seen Trout this year, really in an extended a body of work, he was dominant, he was hot, he was on fire, and they kind of watched some video and kind of saw what he did against them. And they just made the adjustments to kind of keep him off balance and keep him off the bases.
Here's Howie Kendrick. Tigers have also made some defensive changes. Barry in left. Dirksen will move to right. Santiago now at third. And a ball to Howie Kendrick.
If there was ever a double play candidate, it would be Howie. Howie's grounded into 21 double play.
Whoa. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But I don't know if that factors very much into when Max is on the mound, though, because it even seems like he's getting a strikeout or a flyout.
He's gotten a lot of both today. He has punched out 9. Here's the 1-1. Here's the fly ball to center. And Jackson will handle it. Kendrick is out, 1 gone. It's going to bring up Ibar. Ibar today is 0 for 2, ground out pop up. Only 4 hits allowed by Scherzer as we play here in the 7th. Driven to center field. Again, right at AJ. Can of corn. 2 gone. Here's the breakdown. He's thrown 116 pitches, 9 strikeouts.
And more than likely, this will be his last inning of work.
.122 is the most he has thrown in a game. And in that game, he struck out 12. 0-1. Scherzer has a chance to win his 14th. If the Tigers hold on to this one. And the 0-1. Lifted in the air, foul, back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes on Vernon Wells. Another big crowd here today, 40,074 on a Kids Sunday here at the ballpark. Tigers now at 2.4 million for 2012 in attendance. That one missed. 1 and 2 on Vernon.
Pretty sure a lot of fans had this one circled on their calendar when the schedules came out. The Angels in town, always a competitive team. They had already acquired Pujols. Tigers have Fielder. And not many more Sundays before kids have to go back to school anyway.
Yeah, good point. The 1-2. Little tapper hit slowly back towards short. Peralta got him. Nicely done by Johnny. No runs, a walk. It's stranded. Let's go to the stretch.
Max Scherzer has been on point here today against a team that came in on fire. They had 20 hits before they got here on Friday, and Max just simply has overpowered them with mid-90s fastballs up in the zone, real good breaking balls down in the zone, an outstanding changeup, and pitching fearlessly with a lot of confidence. I can't remember a 2-month stretch where Max has been as dominant as he has been here today.
Well, I don't think you can remember it because I don't think it's happened. I mean, he's just been as good as we had seen him in a long time. 2 strike counts on 21 of the 26 batters faced, and he went 0-2 on 11 batters.
When you have the kind of stuff that Max has, and you have those kind of numbers with 2 strikes, you're going to have a good day like he had today.
Hey, by the way, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game presented by the Quarter Pounder with Cheese using your cell phone. Text Tigers. That is spaced on the player's uniform number to 37338, or if you'd like, you can also do it online at foxsportsdetroit.com. So we'll see if the Tigers now can pile on a little bit. They lead 4-1. And a great day here in the Motor City. Summer winding down. G Money leads it off. Gerald Laird, and then Jackson, and then Infante. Laird today is 0 for 2. Irvin Santana was cruising along until he gave up back-to-back homers by Fielder and Delman Young in the 6th. Strike 1 on Gerald Laird. Rain still holding up the White Sox and Seattle at U.S. Cellular Field. There's a strike called. Now Gerald 0-2 in the count. Four runs, 5 hits for Detroit, and a run on 4 hits for the visiting Angels. Each team has left 4 on base. Here's the 0-2. One hopper hit to second. Kendrick has it, and Laird is out. 1 away. I gave you that trivia question earlier in the game. Here it is again. You had a pretty good opportunity to think about it. The question was, which Tiger had the highest average in their first season at Comerica Park? Well, that would be Pudge Rodriguez, of course. He hit .354 at home in 2004.
Little Pudgy one.
It was fun catching up with Pudge in Texas. 0-1 on Jackson. Here's some of the better first years at Comerica Park.
Martinez was stellar last year. Prince has been really good.
0-2 on Jackson.
Apparently Edgar Renteria didn't do much on the road because his numbers here at Comerica Park were very good, but he was not liked very much when he was here for that year.
Apparently much better. The home splits.
And Edgar's a very likable young man.
That he is.
I think a lot of that was the fact that we traded Jair Jurgens in that deal to Atlanta.
And he had a nice year.
Yeah.
That should get back into the seats. 1-2 on Jackson. Austin today's 0 for 3. Tigers on a day without their big gun Miguel Cabrera, leading at 4-1. Angels have played this entire series without Pujols. Driven toward left. Wells will come in to make the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. That'll bring up Infante. As Leland is fond of saying, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And Tigers certainly got a break with no Pujols in the Los Angeles lineup. Omar looks at ball 1.
Yeah, that's a one big bat that they did not have to try to get through. And because it would have been tough to kind of slow him down, and also Trumbo and Trout, as they've done in the series.
1-1 on Omar. Walked and scored a run back in the third. Been a tough series for the much heralded Trout, their center fielder. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Trumbo has struggled as well.
Well, let's let him struggle for 6 more outs.
Yep. I'm with you on that.
Let him go bye-bye.
2-2 the count. Joaquin Benoit. It's 3.21 ERA. Swing and a miss. So Infante strikes out. 1-2-3 inning for Santana. To the 8th we go. Back here at Comerica Park on a gorgeous afternoon with the Tigers up 4-1 as we go to the top of the 8th inning here at the ballpark. Here's the Comerica game summary for this one this afternoon. They certainly have been money in the bank. We're talking about the Tigers pitching on this homestand, a 2.56 ERA, and the bullpen, as Mr. Allen circles, has been really good.
2 earnings in 23 2/3 innings. Look at that opponent's batting average, 185.
Speaking of the bullpen, it's now into this game. Scherzer done for the afternoon. Wallside windows pitching change with Joaquin Benoit.
Jim did not have to use his setup man in last night's game. That's because Dotel pitched 2 innings and pitched very well in relief. Benoit's done his fair share of really good work as well out of that bullpen. 63 strikeouts in 56 innings against 17 walks for the talented setup man.
Chris Iannetta leads it off, and he fouls it off. Scherzer finished the game by retiring 17 of the last 18 he faced. That was some kind of roll. 9 strikeouts for the game. Iannetta struck out twice against Max. Swing and a miss. Tigers offense today with only 5 hits. However, 4 of them have been for extra bases, and 2 of them home runs, one by Fielder and the other by Delman.
And today is a day where you kind of felt early on would be a day with no Miguel Cabrera in the lineup, that Cabrera would, Miggy would not get a whole, Fielder would not get a whole lot to hit.
Meanwhile, another strikeout for Iannetta, who fans for the third time. 10 strikeouts for Tigers pitching.
Easy for me to get those two guys' names in sync. Don't forget to join us Tuesday night for more baseball as the Tigers hit the road to visit the Royals. Coverage begins at 7:30 with Tigers Live. That's Tigers Baseball Tuesday at 7:30 here on Fox Sports Detroit. Why are you laughing at?
Just because you're struggling. And I know what it feels like. Here's Trout. You could always combine them and just call him Priggy. Prince and Miggy. Speaking of struggling, Trout's probably getting ready to head out of town, and happily so. He is 1 for 3 today, but only 1 hit in 12 at bats in the series.
We'll see him again, though, in just a couple weeks. We'll go out west.
Three-game series as part of a long road trip, 3-city tour in September.
Had a ton of those this year.
Swing and a miss. I've seen Trout swing and miss a lot in this series.
They've pitched him well. They've gone up, they've gone down, they've gone in, they've gone out, they've changed speeds, which is what you have to do to a guy that's having a special year and who is a special talent.
Another swing and a miss.
It was Max that was pretty much throwing those mid to upper 90s fastballs by Trout, and it's been Benoit with back-to-back changeups that he has swung right over the top of.
Strikeouts in each of his last 2 at bats. After an infield hit to start the ball game today, eventually scored what has been the only run for the Angels.
I don't know if they're going to change what they're going to throw here, but they're going to go and 3 changeups in a row. But they changed it to a fastball.
Off the plate, 2-2. Trout had never gone, at least this year, 3 straight games without a hit. And he put that bid to an end with that infield hit in the first, but it just has not been a good series for him. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Appeared to be an 88-mile-per-hour slider there that he finally finished off Trout with. Third time Mike Trout has struck out today.
Ball outside to Meiseris Turris. Tigers pitching now 11 strikeouts in this game.
Benoit really hasn't used his slider all that much lately. It's been pretty much fastball changeup, but he busted it out there. Made to punch out Trout.
Fly ball, left field. Quentin Berry is under it. And Benoit with the 1-2-3 inning. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, Tigers still lead 4-1. And Tiger Baseball today presented by Belt Tire. eighth inning here. Time now for the Bernstein Advantage scouting report. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you. What has the Tigers' middle of the lineup done this afternoon, you ask? Well, the 3, 4, 5 hitters are 4 for 8, double, triple, 2 homers, and 4 RBIs.
Well, yesterday it was the guys at the bottom of the order that were getting busy. Today it's the big boys doing the damage.
Well, it's always good to spread the wealth. Meanwhile, there's a new pitcher on now. Santana done. Scott Downs, the veteran, comes in.
Downs has had a good year. He's got a sub-3 ERA. Left-handers are hitting 200 against him. Right-handers a little bit better at 282, and he's only given up 2 home runs in over 37 innings logged this year.
Here's a bunt and a good one. The throw. Oh, he called him out, but he dropped it. Trumbo couldn't hang on, otherwise they were going to call him out.
That means they might have to give an error to somebody. If Scott Berry initially was going to call him out, it might be tough to give Dirks a base hit here. He probably bunted this one a little harder than you'd like to bunt it. So you want to deaden the ball. You want it to be stopped when it gets to that third baseman. And this Torres comes in, makes a nice play, but Trumbo on the other side not able to complete it.
Even so, a do-or-die play, and they called it a base hit. So he would have been out. They've called it a hit. Here's Fielder.
Now, how can you do that, though? My question is, I mean, if the umpire clearly, emphatically says out, and then there's a misplay on one of the sides, how can you give the guy a hit?
Well, I think he was taking into consideration that it was a really difficult play for his tourist. It's the only thing I can think of. Because the replay showed he would have been out, and the umpire emphatically called him out. And he'll take it, though.
Here's the umpire. It's Scott Berry. Clearly punches him out, and then when the ball's dropped, you get the safe call.
Oh, 0-2 on Fielder. So it'll be the 6th Tigers hit. And it's going to be the 2nd for Dirks. Oh, 0-2 on Prince. 2-run shot back in the 6th off Santana. Broke the 1-1 tie. Tap foul. Grande getting in the zone. Let's see if he went. Negative. Gary Darling down at third base, and he held up 1-2. Scott Downs, 36 years old, out of Louisville, Kentucky. Big league career began in 2000 with the Chicago Cubs. Ball low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. With a left-handed batter up there, Mike Scioscia likes to play his first baseman off the bag. Would cut down the angle at first base. Which I guess could give Dirks maybe an extra step. Measuring his lead. And the 2-2 outside. 3-2 on Prince. Troy Hawkins warming up. He pitched in the ball game last night.
I don't think Jim will be afraid to start the runner here with nobody out. I think there's a trust factor with Prince and that he'll put the ball in play if Dirks is on the move.
Let's see. There he goes, and it's lined to right field, base hit. Dirks just keeps going, and he is standing at third base, and the Tigers have him at the corners.
Prince is a big, strong, physical guy with massive power, but he also has a real short, quick swing. Did you see how quickly he got through that 89-mile-per-hour two-seamer down and in? Whoa, whoa, what bat speed.
Downs was 0-2 on Prince. He ran it full, and then Prince singles.
Look at where this is located, and Prince just drops the head on it.
Infield coming in now for the Angels. As Delman Young stands in 2 for 3 today, double and a homer.
If you're Delman Young, is confident, and as well as you've been swinging the bat lately, you just know you're going to drive this run in.
That'll get back out of play. 0-1.
Somehow, some way, hitters just go through levels of confidence when the ball looks like a beach ball to you. 5 for 6, 3 doubles, big fly last 2 games.
Dirks along with Fielder on the bases, and a swing and a miss. 0-2 on Delman Young.
Good pitch there by Downs. Slow breaking ball at 76 miles an hour.
Santana started, went the first 7, throwing 100 pitches for the game. Scott Downs coming on here in the 8th. And it's 0-2 on Delman Young. Swing and a miss, and Delman goes down. Downs gets a strikeout. 1 out. Gonna bring up Quentin Berry. Berry came on as a defensive replacement. This will be his first at bat of the ball game, hitting .272.
Well, here's where the wheels will start to turn a little bit if you're Socha, because you know that there's speed at the plate. There's also speed at third. And Tigers have a 3-run lead and could very easily get greedy here and try to squeeze that 5th run of the game home.
The hope was Delman would have gotten him in, but the runners remain at the corners. And a strike called on Berry. Gene Lamont gets the signs from the bench, relays them.
Socha, if he's thinking along those lines, he could call for a pitch out here, which he does quite a bit of.
Swing and a miss. Now it's 0-2. I love that story you tell about managing against Mike Socha early on in your career. Is that the Gulf Coast League? Or instructional league?
Instructional league, yeah. in Arizona. He was managing the Dodgers minor league system at that time, and he played for keeps. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. He was managing like it was the 7th game of the World Series.
Here's the 0-2, and it's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And you knew when you went home that night, if you were playing that Dodgers team and Socha was managing, you had to be on top of your game, just like most of these managers at this level on a nightly basis when you manage against Social. He's very aggressive. One of those managers that does not let the game come to him. He usually goes out and, puts pressure on the opposing team.
Foul tip. Barry stays alive.
Something Social was doing that year, and I talked to him after several of those games, and he used to make some of those young kids butt with 2 strikes in sacrifice situations, and I was asking him about that. He says, you know what, Rod, that's what they're going to have to do if they get to the big leagues. So I'm just trying to prepare these guys that are table setters that even if you miss the first 2 and you have 2 strikes, you still have a job to do.
Fly ball, center field. This will be deep enough to get the run in. Dirks will tag up. He will come in to score, and Quentin Berry gets it done. Sac fly, RBI.
Not only is Q driving the run in, he's playing bat boy here today. Picked up the bat, going in, getting lots of high fives.
That is a big run. It's a 5-1 ball game. Here comes Socha. Johnny Peralta due up. And so a pitching change coming up. We'll be back.
.com at Bet 12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. You can get live audio pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826, or you can simply visit Tigers.com for details.
LaTroy Hawkins now is the new pitcher for the Angels.
And LaTroy has pitched in 40 games this year. He checks in with 2 wins, 3 losses, and 6 holds. And left-handers hitting .219 against him. Right-handers, however, hitting .358 against LaTroy.
He threw in last night's game, threw 9 pitches for Mike Socha out of the bullpen.
So apparently those numbers don't mean a whole lot to Mike Socha.
Or these numbers. In this month of August, he's allowed 10 earned runs in 10 2/3 innings. Here's the 0-1. Grounded toward the left side of the infield. Ibar on the charge. And his throw is in time. Peralta nipped at the wire. However, the Tigers get another run. Let's go to the 9th. For the Angels, 5-1 in favor of Detroit as they try and win 2 out of 3 in this series. Papa Grande coming in now to try and shut this one down.
55th game now that Valverde has been in. He got a save in yesterday's game, and that was a 1-2-3 save for the big right-hander. Let's hope that he can go out and do that again today, although not a save situation for Valverde.
Torrey Hunter leads it off. He is 2 for 3 career against Valverde. Benoit pitching a 1-2-3 eighth in which he struck out a pair, and now Valverde here in the ninth. Here's the 1-0. Hit it. Not the way he wanted to start the ninth. So Hunter is aboard.
And it looked like Valverde dropped his arm angle that time. Elbow got too low. As a result, that two-seam fastball tailed in and clipped the elbow of Hunter.
Here's Kendrys Morales. Tiger pitching today's allowed just 4 hits. Runner on the move. They were playing behind him, and so Hunter will go in standing up, and there's ball 1 to Morales.
You got to give the Tigers staff some credit. The Angels had 20 hits on a ball game on Thursday in Boston before they came to town, and their offense has really been hot lately.
Well, they swept that series in Boston. They took the first game in this series. They had won 4 in a row, but the last 2 days have been a whole lot different.
Tigers got off to a homestand here where they dropped the first 2 of 3, but yet looking to win 6 and only dropped 3 the entire homestand.
Grounded foul off his foot. 1 ball, 1 strike on Morales. Scherzer retired 17 of the last 18 he faced, and then Benoit 1-2-3 eighth. One for 3 this afternoon for Morales, trying to pick up Torrey Hunter, who was hit by a pitch to start the inning. Back up the middle into center field, base hit. Hunter will come around to score. It's an RBI single for Kendrys Morales, and now it's 5-2. '56th RBI for Morales. Now Trumbo, a couple of strikeouts and a walk for Mark Trumbo. That is the first Angels hit since they got a single by Kendrick to lead off the 2nd inning. Further evidence of how dominant Scherzer was today. 1 ball, no strikes on Trumbo. Two 2-0. Crowd getting a little bit antsy, and so is Jeff Jones. The pitching coach will make a trip out to the mound.
As soon as the game ends, our coverage will continue with Tigers Live. You'll hear from the manager, Jim Leland, and the players. Plus, we'll break down the game, show you all the highlights. That's Tigers Live immediately after the game here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Shannon Hogan will be in the Tigers clubhouse after the ball game today, hopefully talking about another victory over the Angels. Brian Villarreal starts to throw again in the Detroit bullpen. So it's 2-0 on Mark Trumbo. In for a strike, 2-1. Trumbo has struck out 7 times in this 3-game series. He's fanned 2 more times today. It's been a rough go of it here in the month of August for Trumbo. Came in at .218 this month. Here's the 2-1. Fouled straight back, make it 2-2 on the slugging first baseman. Slash outfielder, slash third baseman.
This much we do know. He can hit.
That he can.
So can he.
Day off today for Cabrera. Low, 3-2 on Trumbo.
Socia is a very aggressive manager, boy, but I don't think he'll start Morales here. Because there's no way that Morales will make it to second base if Trumbo strikes out again today. And he's already struck out a couple of times.
He can't be going here, can he? He's holding. That is fouled away.
Anybody but Morales. And Mike Scioscia's probably letting him go.
Kendrick on deck. 5-2. Tigers lead the Angels. We're in the 9th. That run the Tigers picked up in the bottom of the 8th, looking pretty good right now. Here's the 3-2. A little pop up back a second, but Infante will get there. Trumbo retired, 1 gone. Let's see if we get a ground ball here, double play, and all go home. Kendrick standing in. He is 1 for 3.
Howie has grounded into 21 of those bad boys.
In for a strike, 0-1. For Kendrick, a single, a strikeout, and a flyout today. Overall, a good series for Howie. 5 hits, knocked in 3. And the 0-1. Line drive to right, slicing, and it is a foul ball. That went to the corner, and it's 0-2. Didn't miss by a whole lot, but enough. Five runs, 7 hits for Detroit. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Angels. Swing and a miss. Kendrick goes down swinging. 2 gone.
Old Tumbelina here, featured by Valverde, and a dandy.
And the crowd to its feet. More than 40,000 here looking for the final out, which would give Detroit 2 out of 3 in this series. And the runner going, and a ball inside, 1-0. So Morales will take second base uncontested. Eric Ibar, the last chance for the Angels. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on Ibar. Tigers pitching this afternoon has punched out 12 batters. Most of those courtesy of Mr. Scherzer, who struck out 9 of them. Benoit picked up 2, and now Valverde 1 here in the 9th. That sprayed foul back out of play. Now Ibar down to his final strike. 1-2. Grounded foul. Ibar stays alive. Tigers dropped the first game in the series. They won last night, and they're on the verge of salting this one away. They need one more strike. Popped up, right side of the infield. Prince, and the ball game is over. Tigers win 2 out of 3 from the Angels. Chicago's still in a rain delay, so the Tigers at this point gain a half game. They are 2 back at Chicago. And the Tigers now 11 games over the 500 mark. Big day for Delman Young. Leading the Tigers offense. They put up 5 runs on 7 hits today, and a whole lot more coming up in the ballpark. Let's celebrate a win today. 5-2, back with more.